Now,
Recovery doesn't start tomorrow.
calling all angels.
Recovery starts right now. And here to help is Rated R for Recovery.
Calling all you angels. Calling all angels. Calling all you angels.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Rated R for Recovery at ratedrforrecovery.com. The website is ratedr, the number 4, recovery.com. I'm an addict and alcoholic. My name's John.
Hey, John.
Hey, John.
And to my left, all the way to my left, my co-host,
I'm an alcoholic. My name is Joy. Welcome to the show.
Joy.
Hey,
Joy,
Joy.
would you tell everybody at home listening and everybody here what Rated R for Recovery is?
Rated R is a recovery-based, faith-driven program bringing hope, healing, and restoration to individuals and families impacted by addiction. Through interviews, sharing information, and entertainment, we strive to be a catalyst for change for all who wish to recover.
Very good. So that's it in a nutshell. We are broadcasting on YouTube, and through the podcast playground, we are on Spotify, Pandora, Apple Music, every platform you can think of. So on the YouTube, if you'd be so kind, if you haven't done it already, is to take your phone out, find Rated R, the number 4 Recovery at YouTube, and hit the like and subscribe button. We would greatly appreciate it. It doesn't cost a dime, and the more subscribers we have, the more followers we have, the more God can grow the show to His good purpose. We broadcast a show from Kimmies Recovery Zone in South Fort Myers, Florida, every Tuesday night at 6 p.m. You can hear the show on our website as it's archived by our executive producer, Mark Santora, and it's uploaded to YouTube as well each and every week. And what I'm holding in my hand is something that Kimmy's Recovery Zone didn't invent, but made public and made people aware of, and that's a box of Narcan. Joy, this stuff saves lives.
Yes, and they distribute it, and we have it free here.
We do, and it's here anytime somebody needs to stop by. Joy, did you realize that Kimmy's Recovery Zone also goes around the community and is responsible for this stuff being in every treatment center in Lee County, Collier County, and Charlotte County?
I knew about Lee County.
Okay, very good. And also in the schools now, if I'm not mistaken. So that is a good thing, and that's thanks to the founder and the staff at Kimmy's Recovery Zone. So give them a nice round of applause. You'll be hearing from them.
Yes, and thanks to Kimmy's Recovery Zone, I carry one in my purse now, all the time.
You've been what?
I carry one in my purse now, all the time.
Yes, and one in my car, and it's just become something natural to have because of the induction of fentanyl, which replaced heroin at some period in time and has killed so many people. And this stuff brings people back from an overdose. And too bad it wasn't around some years ago when so many people we've lost due to addiction. So that's the opening of the show right here. We'll keep this box of Narcan up here. The camera can shoot on it if it wants to, and you can see what it looks like at home, because some people may not even be familiar with what it looks like, how to use it, and there is instructions on the back of the box on how to use it, because you never know. You might be at the grocery store and somebody, bang, falls out. You got the box of Narcan, and you got one in your purse, you can save a life just like that. Right, Matt?
That's right.
So right next to me is Matt and Matt K. Matt is from Fort Hope, and he's also in recovery himself, so give Matt a wonderful round of applause.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Matt, you were on the show a few weeks ago, and you discussed what Fort Hope is and what they do to help other people. But what we didn't get into is your own personal journey. And how did that start, Matt? Where are you from?
Well, I'm from Englewood, Florida, not too far from here.
Okay.
About 11 years old. I smoked my first cigarette and smoked weed the first day.
11.
At 11.
I must have been a very late bloomer. Anyway, but that's just me. So where did it take you? What talk about it?
Well, cigarettes took me into marijuana. Marijuana, just hanging out with that crowd shortly after that. we started drinking some liquor out of the cabinets, Grandpa's cabinets,
Yeah.
taking some Canadian Mist, and started to catch a buzz. And then we found pharmaceuticals. And when I found the Xanax,
Did it go that fast? You went from smoking a cigarette and weed all the way right to pharmaceuticals.
I was
And what,
probably about a year span.
really? So like by 12 years old?
By 12 years old, I had eaten my first Xanax,
Huh.
and then understood the pharmaceutical industry and understood there was pharmaceuticals to be had.
Did those end up being your drug of choice?
Mine was Xanax, Valium, and Clozapine.
Oh, okay. So talk about how the progression.
Yeah,
affected
so I started getting in a lot of trouble about that time. 12 years old, and I ended up going to a boys' home out in Mississippi, a behavioral Baptist boys' home. And I entered into this home out there as the youngest kid, and went out there and just developed a bunch of anger issues while I was out there.
Were you picked on because you were the youngest?
I was picked on. I fought a lot. I got beat up a lot, if we're honest. And when I finally got out of there and I got back into town, I was around guys, my age and my peers, and that's where I knew where to go back to, and I knew what to find. So at 13 years old, 14 years old, we were going around to houses, mom and dad's houses, going through the cabinets, cupboards, finding pharmaceuticals, getting high. At 13, we started selling. I had a buddy of mine, his dad was in the dope game, so we started selling weed for him around the neighborhood, and that's where that started to
So
progress.
the boys' home didn't take, as they would say.
No, it probably could have if I would have listened, but
Yeah.
I just was rebellious as a child.
You were 11 or 12, whatever this age you were at. So it's not usually conducive to, most of the time, it's conducive to rebellion, and I get that. Just like the nuns when I was little, they hit us. We didn't want to be around them. So where does it go from there?
So 14 years old, I'm selling drugs at this point, and I'm introduced to cocaine. And when I was introduced to cocaine at 14, I definitely thought that was the greatest thing ever. That took me into a different crowd. Probably 6 months after that, introduced to methamphetamines as well. At 15 years old, I moved into a house with a 39-year-old woman and 2 kids.
Okay. In a relationship?
In a relationship.
And you were how old?
I was 15 years old.
And she's how old?
39.
So basically, she had 3 kids.
Do the math, yes, that's right.
Exactly. What Joy just said. 2 kids of her own, and then Matt. So how did that work? Sorry.
Well, for me at the time, I thought it was great. I had a family in my mind. I thought it was a family. I also was introduced to everybody that was older that sold drugs, plus my younger generation that I hung out with. So now I was into meth, cocaine, selling drugs, pharmaceuticals. Scripps got involved at this point.
And you were the hero amongst your own age group, I assume.
Correct.
You got, he's literally living. Look at this, with a woman, and he's got kids, and he's got a house, and look at all that.
At that time, if you wanted it, I could get it. And, doctor shopping came into play there, and that's where the Roxys and the Xanax really started.
Was this woman, this 39-year-old woman, an active addiction herself?
She was. She was, I would say, more of a social user, not a dependent addict at the time.
Okay.
But a social user, and broken and lost and
a predator, but
Yep.
Go ahead.
All that going on.
Yeah.
It's different when you're a 15-year-old boy versus a girl.
I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about her. Yes. Okay. So, so you're with her for how long?
That lasted 2 years.
Huh.
2 years in that relationship. I had an older brother come down. It was during the Tyson Holyfield fight. Probably everybody remembers that.
Yep.
When he got his ear bit off.
Yeah. Yes.
I invited my older brothers over for have some beers and hang out.
Okay.
And after the fight, he pulled me outside and asked me what the heck I was doing, and began to speak truth into my life. And my eyes were opened a little bit, but it was a friend coming over, kind of pulling me out. And then there was some fighting, arguing, bickering, kind of stuff, and we split ways after that.
So your brother was the one that took you aside first. Is that
Yeah.
what you're saying? And he did he get to you somehow?
He did. He was an older brother, went to college, played football, and he was somebody I looked up to.
Yeah.
So when he was speaking truth to me, I had my ears open. I was
Did he
listening.
speak truth to that woman too?
He did not. He
Okay.
did not.
All right. Okay. So you get a little taste of something that twinge. Get that little twinge, right?
Yep.
That I might need to change something. And then what happened?
Well, I got out of there, and shortly after that, I moved into an apartment with a good buddy of mine, Steve-O. And
Steve-O from the Jackass?
not Steve-O from Jackass. Kind of like him, a lot more quiet though.
Okay. All right.
And he partied, had his own house. He was 19. I was what, 16, 17 at this time.
Yeah.
And I brought everything I learned there into the new house. probably the most memorable story of Steve-O. He's dead today. And there was a party that he wanted to go to that I was going to, but I didn't feel well. And I ended up giving him a handful of Xanax. And that night he went and did Xanax and cocaine, and he died that night.
Wow.
And I carried that guilt and shame for years as taking responsibility for, playing a part in that. And I did. I played a responsibility. And I sold drugs. I used drugs. I used them to manipulate, to con, all the things we do with them. I'd be the guy that would show up at a house, and you walk through the door, and there's messy clothes everywhere. There's kids running around in diapers, and I know what's going on, and I walk right over all that and go into the back room and do what needs to be done to make money and sell drugs. And I talk about it, John. Look back, and I'm it's embarrassing and ashamed of what I did then. But that's.
Did your personal use escalate after your friend passed away?
Absolutely. The way we celebrated that was, we went out and just
numbed it.
Just got completely numbed.
Yeah. So what was the point where it got to the point where I can't do this anymore?
Well, for me, we fast forward. I ended up on house arrest real quick at age 21. I had 2 DUIs before 21. Lost my license, on house arrest, and then I found my current wife, now Dawn, and moved out of town, thinking this was the answer. Well, that lasted 6 months until I saw some things going on the East Coast. And right back into the game after I started using, back to dependent, back to selling because I couldn't afford it anymore. And that lasted all the way to 28. Fast forward, I had a couple kids along the way. I'd like to say that's what pushed me over the edge, John, but it wasn't. What pushed me over the edge was my wife was pregnant, and I was 3 days trying to be clean. My back of my neck was crawling, and I went to go get what always did it, a blue, and I did it, and it didn't work. I still felt bad. I felt guilty. And that was my crying out. And, at that point, I'd moved my family in between 2 houses, both houses on the right and left, selling drugs. We're selling drugs. My wife was pregnant. We had a 4-year-old child at the time. And, I'd take those kids, and I'd take her and the kids. I'd roll up to the Dote house. I'd drive with pills in the car. I was just irresponsible. And
it's because I'm not saying because of you, because when I'm in that addiction, it's a one-track mind. I'm just doing with blinders on, regardless of how it affects anybody else. I'm just doing what I do because this is what I do. This is what I have become.
And it becomes the norm.
Yes, doesn't it?
Yeah. So I've had seizures from everything I've done. Off of Valium. Eating too many Valiums and detoxing seizures, alcohol, too much alcohol, stopped drinking seizures, and then I ended up in a psych ward. I started a detox at that time when I said I was done, and I did it at home. Day 3, I lost my mind. I was running through the house, so I thought palmetto bushes and the police, but none of that was there. And I started smashing out some windows and talking to the light post in the house, and I came to my daughter's room, and I was smashing out her window. She's 4 years old at the time. My wife, they were pulling on my shirt. I came out of a hallucination. I thought the dogs and the cops were on top of me, but it was them. Thank goodness nobody was hurt, but my wife was devastated. They were scared to death. And then we ended up in an ambulance, straitjacket at the hospital, in a psych ward. I stayed there for 4 days. I don't remember that. I do remember going to Circles Care, Medbourne, across the hallway and sitting in a small group in detox and looking out the window. And I saw some people through that window walking around, acting a little goofy. And I shared with the group, I'm glad I'm not in there. And they let me know that's where I came from. Oh. And it was a little bit of awakening of, wow, I didn't even know I was there for 4 days.
Wow, interesting. And then what happened after that?
So after that, I back 2006, there was a guy named Nick came and stayed at our house when I was in my addiction, and he went out to a program called Dunklin. And when he graduated that program after 10 months, he came back to the house. He asked for support. I told him he should get a job. I was pretty prideful and arrogant. And he sat on my living room floor, and his 3 kids were crawling on him. There was something different about this guy. He had a smile on his face. When his wife talked to him, she looked at him with respect. And there was just a glow about this guy. That was in 2006. So I called that guy 2009 after I got out of detox. And he said, yeah, I know a place that you can go, but you probably don't want to do that. It's too hard for you. You probably want to go to a 28-day program, Matt. And he knew what to say to me because I wanted to go then, John.
Right. Okay. So this guy, this is 2006 when you meet this guy.
Yeah.
He just got out of Dunklin. And for those of you listening at home and for those of you in the audience, Dunklin is a year-long program, right?
Correct.
Right, in northern Florida, that is a Christ-centered program.
Correct.
So it is a spiritual solution to a physical problem.
Correct.
Wait a minute. While we're talking about that, is that exactly what I would Google if I wanted to find it? Dunklin?
DunklinMemorial.org. Yep.
There you go. Thanks.
Very good question, Joy. All right, so then you get a little taste of these little nuggets you get exposed to as you're going along, whether it be in a psych ward, whether it be your brother, whether it be a friend, and then this guy, Nick, who went through Dunklin. Now, you've reached a bottom at this point, and you reach out to him for help. Is that what I'm following?
Correct.
Okay, so take us from there.
So after I reached out to him, he sparked the pride in me to want to go out to this program. So we drove out to Okeechobee, hour and a half. We were in Titusville at the time. Smoked as many cigarettes as I could before I got there because you had to quit smoking. And I entered into this place called Dunklin. That was 2009, December 29th. January 7th, 2010, I was at a prayer meeting, and the Lord showed up, and in a moment, the best I could describe it, I realized all the wrong that I was doing and the sinner that I was. And at that time, he also showed me his grace and mercy and his loving salvation, and I accepted the Lord Jesus as my Savior at that time. And I began to operate out of Christian principles and go through a program and learn about my attitude, my selfishness, and my pride and my arrogance, and learn how to take ownership. One of the most memorable things I had is my wife at Cambry was just born at this time, December 4th, so she was 3 weeks old when I entered that program. And they would come out in the weekend for the marriage classes. And John, Saturday night was the only night they could stay the night. My wife wanted me to get up and feed the baby the bottle in the middle of the night, and I was so selfish I wouldn't do it. And as I was sitting in small groups, in marriage small groups, she told on me that I wouldn't do that. And then my counselor, Todd, I'll never forget it. Well, he put it on me, John. And
I don't blame him.
About my selfishness and my pride and my arrogance. And, it was the first time I was peeled back with somebody speaking truth into my life about what I needed to do to be a father, to be a husband, to be a servant. And that was just a small taste of the next 9 months of a lot of that happening.
Okay, all right. So you never had dawned on you before that the marriage and stuff was a partnership that you do for each other?
No, I had
don't
a
mean to
pretty,
pick
I had a
on
pretty,
you.
I had a pretty twisted view, as you could see.
I
A
could see,
39 years
yes.
old woman at 14, 15 years old is
Correct.
pretty twisted, and then
Yes.
and then my mind was warped from a worldly view about what a wife should be and what she should do and
Obviously,
different things.
yes.
So entering into this woman, Dawn, who I bamboozled, basically, because I found a woman that I really wanted to be with, and I bamboozled her and told her all the right things and smooth talked her and all those things, and then come to find out that I'm a drug addict, completely dependent on drugs and alcohol. And
She stayed with you the whole time.
she stayed with me, and the Lord taught her how to forgive. Thank goodness for that, because I ran her through any abuse you could think of, John, from verbal, sexual, physical, manipulation, control. She wanted to leave a bunch of times. She left one time. I came home, and she wouldn't leave because of how jealous I was and how I would rage, and she felt like she would be hurt or harmed if she left. And probably in my addiction, John, it probably would have happened. But anyway, I came home one night, and my daughter, I had one daughter at the time, and all her clothes were out of the room, completely packed, and there was a note on the kitchen table speaking to me about that, how she left and she couldn't do it while I was there because of my jealousy and my rage, and I'll never forget that. It was my gut sunk in, and I'll never forget that day. And
Did that note turn you into rage? Did you react in an angry way?
No, I went into a deep depression. My eyes were open for a moment about just how bad things were.
Yeah.
For her to leave. And I went right into drinking super heavily.
Now, when this happened, was this before you went to Dunklin or after?
Yeah, this was before
Okay.
Dunklin. So I tried to there's a lot that happened in a short amount of time.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know,
All right, so you go to Dunklin, and then your eyes are opened because people are calling you on your BS and
Yes.
in these marriage groups,
Yes, thank
in these small groups, and people are sharing their own experience, how they got out from under.
Yes.
And then your eyes were opened, and your heart must have been opened as well.
yes.
And I also want to point out that, it's not a year program for nothing. It takes time to work through all this stuff. And had you been at home, who knows what would have happened. But you weren't. You were taken, and set aside in a place where you could get a message and hear the message and ponder on the message and before you acted on it. And that was a year of that.
What was the date you walked out of Dunklin?
Well, that was 4 years ago because I stayed there 12 years, John. I stayed at Duncan for 12 years.
Whoa.
So for me, 1 year was the program, and then we signed up for family development, where my wife and my
So the kids and the wife moved up there with you?
they moved out there, and then I worked 50. I was a little worse off than most, so I needed mentorship.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
So that's another year of mentorship, of just learning how to not doing nothing else but learning how to work a job like normal people, and then coming home and being a godly man.
Okay, so you lived at home,
I lived on the camp
Okay.
with my wife and 2 kids for another
but they
year.
lived there also.
Yeah, and then
Okay.
we had mentorship, the family development, what it was called, and
That sounds wonderful, actually. For
they had to
It
teach
does.
me a lot. That was year 1. Then I stayed for another year for servant leadership training. That's where you go back through the classes, help teach. Then I stayed
Yeah.
for another year staff training, and then for another, we'll do the math, 8, 9 years on staff, and stayed out there in the community, helping minister. But really, I'll be honest, the 12 years, I needed every day of it.
Yeah.
Of
It's
just
a-
ingraining the curriculum and the things that you get taught in 6 months. You could be taught everything, but practicing it and letting it seep down in your heart and turn it into a belief system is much different.
And I love that you say that, and I love that you say it that way, because I see people come into detox, and after 3 days, they think they've overreacted, and that, oh, I'm done now, I don't need this anymore.
You can't
And I'm like,
do that,
oh, are
man.
you kidding me?
I couldn't
Yeah.
see one day ahead, 24
Yes.
hours, 3 days ahead sober. 9 months was an eternity. And I like to tell people, we go to detox every Monday night and we share about Dunklin. And if anybody makes a decision, we take them there. But I share a timeline from 0 to 80. And if you draw that on the board and you look at that timeline, and most of us fall right in the middle around 40, and you look at that 80-year span, and then you take 9 months, it's a tiny sliver of our lives.
Right.
To really get the help that you need, to
Correct.
do the hard thing now for the longevity of things. But for us, in our addiction, I can't see tomorrow.
Right.
I'm just trying to get high today.
Okay. Yeah,
You know?
absolutely.
Oh, sorry,
I'm
John.
pushing you towards the microphone. That's all I'm doing. So so Dunklin and this program created the man you are today.
Correct.
Now-
I like to give credit to the Lord, because the day I met Him, and that's ultimately the goals. We come to meet Christ, and then the sanctification process, as the Holy Spirit indwelling in us begins to work, the sanctification process. But yes, Dunklin, big role in that. I need it every day out there.
What kind of man are you today?
Today I show up. I'm there for my wife. I wish she was here now. She would attest to that.
We'd love to have her on the show sometime.
She'd love to come share the
Yeah,
story.
I'm serious.
Um,
She must have her own journey and her own
Yeah.
story to tell.
Yeah, I show up today, John, do the things that we need to do. Go to work every day. Don't call in sick.
What do you do for work?
I work at Cornerstone, Southwest Florida Builders.
Yeah.
I run the finish department in there, and then we have a full-time ministry here in Fort Myers.
You learned that trade from Dunklin?
Not the painting part of it, but construction. I've dibbled a little bit here and there, but everything I've learned as far as work ethic, following procedures, listening to other people, I learned that at Dunklin, because they taught me real quick
How to be a
listen,
husband?
how to be a husband,
How to be a father?
how to keep your mouth shut and just do what you're told to do. And
Okay.
I had to learn that. I didn't know that. I vowed in my heart that I'd never let another man tell me what to do, based off my childhood, and I operated in that vow, and I never did that. But God broke through that and broke that vow in my heart, where I allowed other men to help make decisions for my life,
How
and
do you-
allow other men to speak truth into my life, and I still have that today.
Well, the blessing is that we don't have to hurt the people we love and that love us anymore. That is a tremendous thing, just to get that far. And then to be able to carry a message of hope to other people, or to, in your case, other men that you mentor, is just astronomical.
So just a quick snapshot.
Yeah,
Jonathan,
absolutely.
If I could, I have Kiara, who was 4 at the time. She's 21 now, just got married.
Yeah,
5
tell
weeks
that
after they're
story.
married, they're pregnant now. Praise God, I'm a granddaddy. I'm gonna be a granddaddy come Easter. My youngest is turning 16 December. She's about to drive. I taught her how to drive. I get to be a part of their lives today. It's an honor. It's a privilege. It is a responsibility, but it's an honor and a privilege. And I just want to share, my oldest daughter, she went and had epilepsy for 18 years. When she was 2.5, she was diagnosed with epilepsy. And my wife was prescribed Clozapines at the time, because she was having anxiety attacks because of it. And of course, I ate every one of those.
Sure, of course
That's
you
where
did.
she started to find out what the monster I was.
All right. Yep.
And left her hanging. But anyway, for 18 years, she's had this epilepsy. Just January, she was in a wheelchair. She developed motor tics, which is like a Tourette syndrome, and was able to walk and stand and be on her own anywhere she went. This was January. May, they got married, worked through that, had some spouts of goodness, and 5 weeks later, they got pregnant, and she hasn't had a tic since, or a seizure. Praise the Lord for that.
I think that's astronomical how Our higher power works in ways that are beyond understanding, beyond our own understanding. So if you had to, we have cameras all over this place, right? And you're being broadcast live on YouTube right now. So for those of us that are, those people that are in the audience and those people watching at home, if you're out looking into those cameras or looking into the eyes of these people, what would you have to say to them if they said, "What do I do?"
Yeah, first I would say we shared a lot of the the bad stuff, and then the rainbows and unicorns we like to call them, the good stuff, right? It's the hope. Like, yeah, I can have that. That's obtainable. It is. With the help surrounded you, it is. But the reality is, right now, you're having some bad days, and there is a reaching hand out there that wants to help. There's people that actually want to help, but it's on us. It's on you to make that hard decision to say yes, and then to follow through. And that decision there, whether it's getting to the detox, whether it's making that phone call to the one person that opened your eyes, or calling right over here to Kimmies. Anywhere on the website, anywhere, we have so many different options for help, and everybody's different. But it's on you to reach out and say, I need that. And then to follow through that first hard step. That's the hardest step there is right there once you get to get started. And staying in it's usually doable because you have people that are doing it with you. And you have people that want to help you as long as you stay connected. But you got to make that hard decision and call out and say, I'm done.
And to say yes every day.
Give Matt a nice round of applause.
Thanks, man.
Remember, there's helplines for all the 12-step fellowships, whether it be AA, NA, CA, the church way, whatever way works. There's helplines all over the place. Like Matt said right here at Kimmy's Recovery Zone, or just reach out to Rated R for Recovery at ratedrforrecovery.com, and we'll see that you get the help. We're going to take a short break right now. When we come back, we have Kimmy's Corner and their guest, Heather Cross, right after these messages.
Struggling with life's challenges? At The Next Step, we're here to guide you to a brighter tomorrow. Whether it's counseling, recovery support, or simply finding hope, we provide the tools and community to help you rise. Take the first step toward healing today. Visit thenextstep.org and discover how we can support your journey to wellness. Remember, every step forward is a step toward a better you. The Next Step, your path to hope, starts here. With offices in Fort Myers and Naples, 844-639-8371.
Have you been charged with a crime? You could face serious penalties for conviction, and it is vitally important that you have skilled legal assistance on your side during this time. Call Brian L. Edwards, Esquire, Attorney at Law today. 888-512-6254. Results matter. With a track record of success, our methods are tried and true. Mistakes happen, but we can help. Brian L. Edwards, Esquire, Attorney at Law. Visit FortMyersCriminalLawFirm.com or call 888-512-6254.
Feeling trapped in addiction? White Sands Treatment Center offers more than just detox. We build lasting recovery. With 3 inpatient and 18 outpatient locations located throughout Florida, we offer services from medically supervised detox to inpatient, outpatient, and sober living programs. Our services include individual therapy, family therapy, life skills, and small group sizes. Our amenities include yoga and massage therapy with recreational activities, including gyms, pools, and spa. Newsweek has named White Sands one of America's best addiction treatment centers 5 years in a row. You deserve quality care in a safe, supportive setting. Call White Sands Helpline at 833-423-2338 or visit whitesandstreatment.com and start your recovery journey today.
Welcome to Holy Spark. At Holy Spark, we bring power and reliability to every job. From panel upgrades and EV chargers to lighting installations and troubleshooting, we're dedicated to keeping your home and business running safely and efficiently. With expert craftsmanship, honest service, and free estimates, you can count on us to deliver electrical solutions that shine bright. Contact us today at holy-spark.net or call 239-789-6832.
Not everyone has the luck of the Irish. If a friend or family member is in trouble, call Shamrock Bail Bonds. Put our number into your phone, 239-332-2245, 239-332-2245, or go online at gobailmeout.com. Shamrock Bail Bonds provides fast, reliable service. Shamrock Bail Bonds, 1528 Broadway, downtown Fort Myers. Look for the Shamrock, and maybe luck will be on your side.
Hello, I'm Michael Manzi, owner of JCI Solutions, 239-672-2673. When starting this company 3 years ago, I had no clue that we would grow to what we have become. There is one thing I can say that we have done from the beginning is take pride in our work, making sure every customer we do work for is satisfied from beginning to end. Offering residential painting all the way to commercial painting with jobs done in a timely manner, with highly skilled professionals giving you top-of-the-line work. To help you create your new look, call JCI Solutions, 239-672-2673.
Struggling with addiction? You're not alone. At Phoenix House Project, we believe in second chances and brighter tomorrows. Our proven programs offer support, hope, and tools to rebuild your life. With expert care and a community that understands, transformation starts here. It's time to rise, reclaim your life, and become the best version of yourself. Visit phoenixhouseproject.squarespace.com today or call 239-244-7876. The journey to recovery begins with sober living. Phoenix House Project, where hope takes flight.
Kimmies Recovery Zone, where hope meets action. We're here to guide the journey from treatment to thriving, healthy living. With peer support, public education, and vital resources like housing, employment, and Narcan training, we're building stronger communities. Ready to make an impact? Together, we're creating a network of recovery, resilience, and renewed lives. Kimmies Recovery Zone, your hub for healing and hope. Visit us online today at kimmiesrecoveryzone.org. It's not how we survive, it's how we thrive.
When children have to play inside so they don't disappear.
Welcome back to Rated R for Recovery.
Calling all angels.
Welcome back, everybody, to Rated R for Recovery and RatedRforRecovery.com, along with our chief sponsor and our partner in crime. That would be Kimmies Recovery Zone. Let's hear it for Kimmies Recovery Zone.
Yay.
So this portion of the show we affectionately call Kimmy's Corner. And I'd like to introduce you to the founder and creator of Kimmy's Recovery Zone, and that's Al Kinkle. Give Al a nice round of applause.
Thank you, Al.
And something that Al does that I think is wonderful is you write a prayer every week, don't you?
Yes, I do, with a little help of God and one of our angels that work here. So, or two of my angels, or three of my angels.
There you go.
This room is full of angels. All the angels say hello. Hello, angels. Good to see you all.
Hello, Charlie.
Okay. Today's a special day in so many respects, and today is the day we honor our veterans, and each and every one of us that sit here today and listen on this podcast owe a lot to our veterans.
Oh, that's
every
right.
day over the past 200 years. So we come together with grateful hearts to lift up our veterans, those brave men and women who stood in the gap to protect our freedom. Without our veterans, we know we wouldn't even be here to share this podcast with you. Bless them for their sacrifice, their courage, and the parts of themselves that they gave so that we can live safely and in peace. Bring comfort to those who still carry invisible wounds and surround them with love, healing, and honor. Lord, we also thank you for the patrons and the supporters of our podcast. They are the heartbeat that keeps our message moving forward. People will believe in the community, recovery, and hope. Bless them for their generosity, their encouragement, and the way they help us reach those who need connections the most. As we gather today, guide our voices, fill the space with compassion, and remind us why we do the work we do. To uplift, to inspire, and to walk beside one another. And remember, love is the answer. Thank you.
Amen. And you know that for sure.
Okay, so with love, we're going to talk to Heather tonight. And Heather has a great opportunity to spend 5 hours in a very small car with me and Heidi
No.
on a trip, on a conference trip.
Best
And
day of
wasn't
my
that-
life.
Was that a great trip or what?
It was life-changing.
Life-changing. I couldn't even talk. I was so nervous with the driving that was going on, Tara. But at any rate, Heather, you wear so many hats and in this community. Can you share the role as a Chief Executive Officer of Center for Progress and Excellence, and what drives you, your passion for this work?
Hi, everyone. I would have to say, Al, even though I'm the CEO for the Center for Progress and Excellence, I'm really a case manager at heart. That's how I started in the field. And, I always think about my past mental health. I can relate. I struggle with mental health. And we're all one decision away, or a decision that was made for us, that we don't have the answers to. We don't have the outlet. And, Matt talked about a lot of things that were so close to the mental health that we see every day, and the lines are so closely intertwined when it comes to substance use and mental health. And, anything that we can do, even though being a CEO, that's kind of secondhand at what I do at CPE. I'm first and foremost the caseworker, the one that tries to find the answers for those of you that are, struggling, whether it's with addiction or mental health.
So this is what you're saying. I see here is this is where I belong. So you knew that. This is where you belong. This is where I'm meant to make a difference. And you knew that just from your own experiences.
Yeah. So, early on, I was raised in a family, mental health really wasn't talked about. Coming from a family, middle-class family from the Midwest, and only child, didn't have brothers and sisters. Probably a lot of people say I was a privileged child. Didn't really know what that meant. It was only because my mom and dad dressed me in nice clothes. So, during my time, you were looked at as spoiled, and so I got picked on and bullied a lot.
Yeah, so the outsides looked really good.
Yeah, the outsides looked really good.
Okay, so the Center of Progress and Excellence plays a vital role in crisis response in our community. Tell us a little bit about the heart behind CPE, the mission, and why this matters so deeply to you.
Yeah, and so CPE, really what we specialize is in diverting what we call Baker Acts. And those are people that are suicidal, homicidal, and we specialize in diverting that. Coming up with a plan, coming up with a safety plan to keep you in the home, keep you working, keep you in the community so you don't feel hopeless. So what we do is we have case management, we have peer support specialists, and all of our services are free. Anytime you need to talk about something, anything that's bothering you, that unexpected death that comes up in the family, that unexpected overdose that comes up in the family, and you don't know where to turn, we offer that mental health support 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You're never alone. We're always here. We're always able to talk, and that's really what I strive for my staff, is to think outside that box, know that we're all one decision away from being in a place of grief, of this black hole that we don't feel like we can get out of. And the mission is really to get this word out to everyone in the community that we can help. You're not going to get an automated line. We have people that cover the phone lines. We have 3 to 4 lines that run all the time. So you're never going to be put on hold. You're always going to have that live person that you can speak to. Even if someone's struggling with addiction and you don't know how to help that person, we can provide guidance. We partner with Kimmies. We do get those people that call in the hotline that are intoxicated that also want to take their life. And that's why we partner so close with Kimmy, because they are the substance use side of it, we're the mental health side, and we work together because we're completely mobile and can complement each other in that recovery from not only substance use, but from mental health.
I'll just go back for a second to the Baker Act and how that's changed. I've witnessed that many times. It's still in my mind, still very bothersome to me from 10 years ago, 15 years ago. And it's changed from what you're saying. It's changed quite a bit, how we Baker Act, how we handle them. and how you handle them.
Yeah, and so, several years ago, they came up with this initiative called Mobile Crisis Response Teams, and that's what we are. And instead of calling law enforcement, we call 911 because somebody's suicidal or homicidal. 9.9 times out of 10, law enforcement will Baker Act you. It's easier, it's faster, and it's what we've always done. So we really stress out to the community, if you know someone that's struggling or you even have to call 911, you can request for our mobile crisis team to go out and respond. There's trauma that's also involved in a Baker Act, because once you are Baker Acted, law enforcement shows up. That's one traumatic experience. The second is that you're handcuffed, and the third is that you are put in the back of a police car in a cage. Mental health is not criminal by any means. But the way the transportation system is set up in a lot of different counties around the state of Florida, a lot of people tend to criminalize it, and that even deters them from wanting to seek help. I just want to mention, we just had the closing numbers for the month of October. We saw 186 people, and out of that 186 people, we only Baker Acted 10 people.
Yeah.
So that's phenomenal.
And I do want to say that when law enforcement gets involved, ultimately the safest way for them to transport somebody is to handcuff them, to put them in the back of the police car. I mean, if it doesn't have to be done and we can avert that, I think that, that's amazing. And I didn't even hear about you guys until I went to the collaboratory, to the party in the park, and I saw CPE, and I was like, oh my gosh, this has been going on for a while. So getting the word out is extremely important.
Yeah, we really rely on the community support, individuals, to get that word out, to make that difference. I'll talk a little bit later in the podcast, but we have partnered with a local law enforcement agency now, Fort Myers Police Department. Chief Jason Fields was very instrumental in getting this co-responder team that I'll talk to about in a little bit.
Yeah, so that really makes me feel good. It's a real stickler with me anyway, and the difference that you're making now and how you approach people, because that's an everlasting trauma.
Yes.
If
Yeah.
it's not handled right, at least you take some of that away, and our journey becomes less heavy.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Yeah.
So what does it feel like to be part of someone's turning point? And when you see somebody turn and you see that hope in their face and that they want to become better again, and you're part of that, how does that feel? Does that feel wonderful to you?
Yeah, I mean,
your team?
Yeah, people call in at rock bottom with their mental health, not only substance use, but with their mental health. They, may have just moved here. They don't have any significant others. They burnt bridges. And, we start at the bottom level. We first build a foundation. We start as simple as some people don't have an ID. They don't even know how to get an ID. Social Security card. Maybe they don't even have clothes. They want to look for work. Maybe they need a haircut. We've paid for haircuts. We've paid for clothes for people. We've paid for transportation for people. These are all stressors that we probably take for granted every day. And so, starting at the foundation level and building people up to be productive members every day is a rewarding experience.
So CPE works hand in hand with so many in the community, including Kimmie's Zone. What's our relationship, and how do you collaborate not only with Kimmie's Zone, but with the rest of us here in the community? And just a round of applause for everybody that's working together, collaborating with each other. I mean, it's just amazing what's going on here in the past few years. 10 years ago, it was collaborating, but not so collaborating. And today, I'm looking out at the faces in here that we collaborate and the people I see in my mind tonight, and I want to thank you all for collaborating. It makes a major difference. So CPE.
Yeah.
What's your feelings there when the collaboration in the community? How's it changed?
Yeah, and
What
so,
does it look like?
yeah, right. So as a community, we look at risk factors. We look at things that affect everyday life for people. We talk about substance use. We haven't talked about your medical health. If we don't take care of our mental health, a lot of times that ripples over into our medical health, heart disease, high blood pressure. And so we're currently collaborating with another community partner called Premier Health. that provides mobile buses that drive around the community, even in Naples, and provide free medical care. So as a CPE, my vision is to take this to cover all aspects of life. We're fortunate enough to have Kimmies Recovery Zone for substance use. So if a call comes in and someone's under the influence, they legally cannot consent for us to come out for treatment because they're under the influence. So instead of saying, well, I can't help you, we figured out a way to still get them the care they need and reach out to Kimmies because they are mobile. They will go to the scene. And again, substance use and mental health is so parallel that we need each other, and then we have the medical aspect of it. So, being able to have these, and these, everything that I talk about is free of charge, right? So the two big barriers is transportation here in Lee County. Some people don't have driver's license. And if they don't, then we got to figure out how to get you the medical care you need without that barrier of transportation. And then, we have the substance use part of it. We have Kimmies. We'll give you a bus ticket. We'll get you over here into a recovery community. Not everybody wants to start an individual therapy or IOP. They just need that support, that peer support that we offer on the mental health side, as well as Kimmies Recovery offer peer recovery support specialists. And those are people with lived experience. Those are people that walk the walk, talk the talk. And sometimes it's hard to interact with people that don't feel that they can relate to you because they don't think you know what they're going through. And so we have people on staff that are, mental health, that live mental health every day, that have been brought up in mental health homes. And so, again, the substance use and the mental health, we've got it covered. And now I'm bringing in the piece of the medical. You don't have to go to the ER now. When you go to the ER, you get a $10 million bill that you're never going to be able to pay for, right? And so there's services in the community, money that's coming in through the community. If you need medical assistance, we have community partners that we're partnering with to get you the free medical care that you need. So you don't have to call EMS, so you don't have to call. Now, of course, obviously, if you have a heart attack or something like that. But there's other medical conditions you don't have to go to the ER for, right? And so a lot of these things drive up costs, drive up bills, drive up more stressors, risk factors. And people, gain all this stress, and then they get to the point where they just want to give up. And we don't want people to feel that way.
No, and you don't. And you're blessed that we have you to do that. And, people do feel alone. And, when you're talking and you're saying the things you're saying, going through my brain is the fact that people still struggle to look for help and don't know where to find help. But today we have more than we ever had, and it's recognized more than ever. When we talk mental health and substance use disorder, I repeat this a lot of times when I do talk. Back in the day when I tried to connect the mental health, my daughter was dual diagnosed, and when I tried to connect mental health with substance use disorder, you just said it was parallel. Well, it is parallel. So it's mental health goes right into self-abuse, addiction, trauma that you had when you were young. They all pop up, So mental health and addiction, I think, work together. And, working with Lee Health for many, many years, they were one of the first ones to cooperate with that theory. And they're in the forefront now. I got to compliment what's going on with Lee Health right now with a lot of different things that they've changed. They're really stepping up to the plate for us for mental health and substance use disorder. So thank you for them while I'm here talking to you.
Yeah.
Okay, so when somebody feels lost, afraid, and unsure where to turn, how can they reach you? I know that we have some paperwork here, I think.
Yeah, so I brought some rack cards here that's got our information. It's an 844 number. Call it any time, 24 hours a day. Call it 2 in the morning, call it 1 in the afternoon. Don't sit on the unknown. You don't know what you don't know. And our hotline gives you that power to ask those questions and not be alone and figure it out. My staff is very determined. If they can't get the answers, they'll find the answers for you. That's what our case management department does, is they sit behind the scenes and whatever it is. Right now we're going through a thing where a lot of our families lost their SNAP benefits or are on hold, and they don't know how they're going to get Thanksgiving for their kids, for themselves, and we partnered with Catholic Charities. Catholic Charities is giving away free turkeys. So different organizations sent out a blast email to my team and said, hey, who needs turkeys? And if they're giving turkeys, then we're going to pitch in and we're going to give some mashed potatoes, we're going to give some gravy, we're going to give some rolls. So again, to Al's point, community partners are really stepping up, and if we can't get you the answer right then, we will find the answer for you. We have a lot of good leaders in this community, a lot of people determined to make those changes. So feel free after the show. We have the rack cards back there. I have no problem having a conversation as well. We just want to take care of the community that we live in.
Yeah, and right, things are changing quickly, and we can see that. And then what I see and hear and read and what people are calling me, there's a lot of things coming available to get us through Thanksgiving, but Thanksgiving's the holiday, but what do we do after that?
Right.
So it's not something one and done. This is something we're going to have to deal with, and the community is going to have to stand up and deal with it, because right now we're the ones that are going to have to accept that responsibility, and we do it gladly, and as much help as we can be, we're going to be out there. So, you have trauma, stigma, fear, and CPE breaking those barriers down and creating a safe, judgment-free place for healing. So when somebody calls, I can see making that phone call, that you don't just let them, they're in trauma, they're really facing some really big barriers, and so you're not going to let them walk away. You're going to get a hold of them, and you're going to talk to them, whoever you send them to, and you're going to convince them to call Kimmies Recovery Zone, call wherever else, and I can't think of another name right now, but Kimmies Recovery Zone will say, and try to get some other help, some step-up help.
Yeah, and so, we really lean on Kimmies because of the mobility, the flexibility, the zero cost. We are a zero cost. We are fully funded. Kimmies is funded just like we are through grants, partnerships, and, we don't want to run up bills for people. Right? And so let the government, let the state, let us collect the data and show the difference that we're making in the communities by not hospitalizing people not going to jail, people staying in their homes, working. Let us do that legwork. We just need people to break that stigma, make those phone calls, lean on us. To help you, make that difference.
I love that you said that. And could you just say one more time about if you call CPE or you call Kimmies and they this no-cost help that we're going to give you and how it helps you collect the data, that you are actually showing that we're saving money.
So we collect data anywhere from what's your age, what's your color, what community that you live in, how long you've been in with us, the least amount of, how many months now that it's been that you've been sober, how many months is it that you've been in continuous care through the mental health, the recidivism rate, as we call it. We collect that data, and that shows the government that what we're doing, because we're not putting that burden on people of cost, that if you give us some more money, we can keep people in the community, we can keep them working, and we can keep, costs low as far as anything else in the community.
Isn't that wonderful? That's great. So
that's a big deal.
It is a big deal, and you're a big deal.
So are you, Al.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Especially with the women.
Yeah, I love it.
And I'm a pickle, so I'm a big dill.
I like it.
You are a big deal also.
Yeah.
So we're all big deals because we all play our own parts in this environment we live in, and we're human beings, and we love each other very, very much, and we want to take care of each other. And I think Kimmies Zone is a place that we found that we can take care of each other, and CPE is another place that we found that we can take care of each other, and Sue's taking care of me, and so is John back there. I appreciate it. Thank you, Heidi and Eileen, wherever you're at. There you go. And Mark, yay, Mark. Give him a big round of applause, Mark. Yeah. Okay, so let me ask you about the Sheriff's Department, not only Lee County Sheriff's Department, but Fort Myers Sheriff's Department. You're working with them on some things, and I'd be interested to find out what they are and how easy is it for our friends that have situations that they might need some help, and how the sheriff's plays a big part in that, and I know that, and so does Fort Myers Police Chief.
Yeah, so Fort Myers Police Department has really been active. They did apply for some grants to fund master level clinicians, case managers to ride around with 2 other officers throughout the community. So they work 40 hours a week, 10-hour shifts. Anything that comes through dispatch that's behavioral health related or public assist, our officers with our trained mental health are attending those calls. Just to put some data in perspective, the first and second month, there was 11 Baker Acts and 13 Baker Acts just with our co-responder unit. Then we looked at the patrols that did not have any mental health responders, and they were triple of what we did. So they were up in 46 and 50 each month that they Baker Acted, opposed to our 11 and 13.
Jeez, God. And so with that, the Narcan that we distribute here in Lee County, that has changed the numbers pretty quickly too, right?
Yeah, the community health program that they started their program that was funded through the opioid money, they've seen, I was in a meeting with them last week, and they've seen a drastic decrease in overdoses. So that was their main mission, was to go to overdose calls, and they've seen a dramatic decrease in overdoses, thanks to Kimmies and pushing out this Narcan, to the hospitals, to the schools, police cars, me, my daughter, we have Narcan in our cars. Again, you never know.
And treatment centers send their patients home when they're discharged with Narcan if they wish.
Yeah. And it's funny, when we first started back in the day, we went to the hospital and they wouldn't let us in there.
Yeah.
And not only the hospital, everybody, being fair to the hospital, it was all new and new to me too. And nobody wanted the peers in the hospital. They didn't want Narcan in the hospital, and we wanted to do that. And then for endocarditis was another big deal.
Yep.
And it kind of gave me a little trauma when I met some of the people in the hospital that suffered from endocarditis, and we wanted to do sessions with them, and I wanted to be a peer for them, people that were suffering endocarditis, so they didn't have to go back and get the surgery again. And the hospital did take care of that, and they've really done a great job. So again, I'm pounding on them because I know that what they're doing, and I hope they hear this session because they know that we appreciate what they're doing at the hospital. They have the big bucks, and they can do the big things, and we can't do those big things that they do.
Yeah.
So what's the best way? You already told me. So the best way to get a hold of you is to call you at home.
1-800-AL-KINKLE is the number.
Give my number. I'm lonely.
Yeah, I'll just mention, since we're live, our number's 1-844-395-4432, and that's 844-395-4432. We do cover 5 counties, so we don't not only cover Lee, we cover Collier, Charlotte, Hendry, and Glades.
How many people do you cover? Not just that, but I mean, how many people's in the county? You're covering all those counties. That's a big job.
Yeah, we have close to 50 people that work at CPE.
Wow.
So, with a 24-hour hotline and, being able to get up at 2 in the morning and go to, we've even been out on 75 answering mental health phone calls. So there's no limit to where we can go to help people.
Well, thank you for so much that you're doing for this community. Everybody, a big round of applause.
Yeah, thank you so much. And CPE is, say the words out loud.
So CPE, crisis, prevention, and empowerment, the 3 top things that we do.
Heather, you did an awesome job. I want to thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're an
Thank you,
awesome
guys.
guest, and we'd love to have you back sometime.
I would love to come back and share updates and
How about 10 o'clock tonight?
So that would just be one-on-one with Al, by the way. Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, thank you very much for attending this episode of Rated R for Recovery. For those of you at home, join us each and every week at 6 o'clock, or go back and watch the shows. We archive these shows. You can go to the YouTube channel, watch each show. You can go to ratedrforrecovery.com, watch each show, see about our sponsors and our supporters, and we'd love to have you be involved with that. I've got a ton of questions for you after we get off the air. What we do is we have Eileen's Encore coming up, ladies and gentlemen, which is a chance to win thousands of fabulous prizes. But that is just for the people in the studio. Those of you who are listening at home, if
Must
you want
be present to win.
Yes, you have to be present to win. It's a giant raffle.
Giant raffle.
And Al, I think the 2025 Chevrolet.
Yes.
What is that, Joy? Oh, that was last week.
Yeah.
Sorry. All right.
Yeah.
So Eileen will be giving away prizes, but you have to be here to do that. So those of you watching at home, all the more encouragement to join us here each week at Kimmies Recovery Zone. Until next week, stay recovered. Thank you.
Stay in recovery.